Now here's a little touchy issue, but I know I need to know the answer to it. Some cases, lawsuits, you hear a person was in a car accident and they sued for $1.5 million, $3 million. And then in other lawsuits, a person says, well, the lawyer says, well, they only have this much, they only have a $25,000 limit or $50,000 limit. But your injuries are very substantial. How does one pursue to get further reparations for what's happened to them when a person's limit is only such as I've mentioned?
Well, that many people have that problem. There's many accidents that there's not enough insurance coverage. And one of the ways you can protect yourself, and you can actually purchase this insurance and have it on your own motor vehicle accident, car accident policy, and it's called SUM insurance, supplemental uninsured motorist coverage or supplemental underinsured motorist coverage. And so what it does, if the person that hits you only has a $25,000 policy, you could have purchased an additional $300,000 or $500,000 or $200,000 coverage on your own policy.
Through your own policy?
Yeah, you can do that. It's called SUM coverage, and that's very important to have. I think it's one of the most important coverages to have on your insurance policy. And so look at that. If you'll look at your insurance policy, you'll see some coverage. If you have $25,000, it's not enough, and you want to have a higher amount. Now the trick with that is that you can't have some coverage any any higher than your liability coverage. So if you only have a $25,000 policy yourself right now, we need to increase that insurance coverage to $100,000 or $300,000, and then you can add that SUM insurance coverage to your policy.
So your SUM insurance coverage can match what you paid for and applied for.
Right, and so most people are buying insurance and you're protecting somebody else if you've caused an accident. But what you can also do with that SUM coverage is actually protect you and your family. So the people that are in your car would have access to this higher level of insurance.
So you're recommending that?
I'm recommending that very strongly.
You hear that? You hear that, Buffalo? I mean, I want people to understand how important that is, that SUM coverage. Listen, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to just touch base a little bit more on that SUM coverage because I think that's very important information for the people to know. Until then, don't switch that dial. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back with Mr. Matar, William Matar, Hurt in the Car, William Matar. And when we left off for break, we were talking about SUM coverage that a person can purchase for themselves through their own insurance company. It seems to me that insurance companies absolutely don't share this information with us. So it's a good thing that Mr. Matar is here right now to share that. And he obviously advises that we all get SUM coverage. Is that correct?
That's correct. And you want to have that policy as high as you can.
As high as you can.
Yeah, a lot of people have a $25,000 insurance policy. If you're hit by some of the $25,000 insurance policy and you have severe injuries, you would hope that you would have some coverage on your vehicle because you'd be able to get that higher dollar amount. So the example is if you have an injury that's worth $300,000 and you get hit by somebody that has a $25,000 policy and they rent and they really don't have any other assets, then your only option would be to take that $25,000 insurance coverage. Now, if you have that SUM coverage, you'd be able to, if you have $300,000 worth of SUM coverage, you'd be able to get the $25,000 from the person that hit you, and then you'd be able to get the difference between the $300,000 and the $25,000, so another $275,000 to total the $300,000 from your SUM insurance company. Now, once again, you may have to fight that insurance company to be able to get that coverage. It's not going to be automatic, but you have that available to you.
And can anybody at any time in the midst of them having insurance call their insurance company and ask for that SUM coverage to be added?
You can call today. Every insurance company would be happy to probably talk to you about SUM coverage. They don't usually explain that to people very often. In fact, I actually go to different insurance agencies and talk to the agents about SUM coverage, because most of the agents don't even understand how the SUM coverage works.
Really? That's very interesting. But I see how important it is to have it. Now, let me also ask you this. As far as the SUM coverage goes, what if a person only has liability? Can they still add the SUM coverage if you've only got liability?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that's the good news. with sum coverage, as long as you have liability coverage, you can add that sum coverage on to your policy. Automatically on your policy, you'll have a $25,000 worth of sum coverage. So that would help you in this situation. If somebody didn't have insurance, you'd have at least $25,000 in coverage on your policy. But that's really not enough. If you're seriously injured, that's not enough coverage.
Does the cost of this increased coverage go up, the increments go up substantially?
No, my experience ultimately is that the insurance, the first $25,000 is pretty much the most expensive coverage you're going to get. And after that, you can raise it to $100,000 and it's not going to cost you much more to increase those coverages.